Welcome to the Be Kind podcast with your host, Joe Kirkner, presented by the Animal Advocates of South Central Pennsylvania.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Be Kind podcast for a special Thanksgiving edition of the podcast. And just as a reminder, we are part of the Animal Advocates mission to create a more compassionate world for all living creatures, especially turkeys around this time of year. Love turkeys. Please don't eat them. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at bekindpodcast@gmail.com. Like, subscribe on Spotify, Google, or Apple. And yeah, any questions, anything, just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to respond. So today, I'm joined by us being just me and John. No
Hi.
guests. So sorry, everyone, for expecting someone super exciting.
I'm pretty exciting.
Pretty ain't super, though.
All right.
Just kidding. You're great. And John, want to kick us off with a special Vegansgiving episode?
Yeah, so obviously Vegansgiving is not really going to be a thing this year, unfortunately, because of obvious situation going on with the world. But yeah, in the past, I used to do Vegansgiving, and this would have been the 14th this would have been the 14th, I believe.
Do you want to give a little background on what Vegansgiving is?
Oh, so yeah, that's a good idea. So Vegansgiving is a vegan potluck. It started off with just 4 of us in a tiny room, and we would all just bring our own little thing. And then it turned into this massive event where we have like 130 plus people show up at random venues that we do it at. And yeah, it just really grew from there. And yeah, so it's amazing because it's not just vegans there. It's literally for everybody. And it's about half non-vegans and vegans. So it's really cool. It's very diverse. Lots of families come, and it's amazing. I love it. And I'm very sad it's not happening.
It's one of the many sacrifices everyone's making this year. So everyone, we're not alone when we're giving up stuff for the holidays. It's rough for everyone, but especially rough for a lot of the vegans out there who may look at this day as an opportunity to get together with their fellow vegans and really just enjoy a relaxed Thanksgiving-style feast to become a little more immersed in the culture and have a little more camaraderie in this community.
Yeah. We are kind of doing something. It's not really Vegansgiving, but we are collecting food to give to people. We're nominating people that need vegan meals. So we are kind of doing something, but not to the caliber of what we're used to. But I will give you more of a timeline of how Vegansgiving started and everything. And yeah, it started, like I said, about 14 years ago. And it was me, my friend Fat Paw, who wasn't even really that fat. It was just a nickname he had. And his girlfriend at the time was Brandy Brown from Z Wild Vegans, who wasn't vegan at the time, but she was vegetarian. And my friend Nick Galusha, who we all did this like magazine together. It was called Sorry Trees. And we basically did punk rock interviews and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. But we were just kind of like hanging out all the time and putting shows together and all that fun stuff. But yeah, we just decided one day we were going to do like a Vegansgiving type thing, not on Thanksgiving, but like really close to Thanksgiving. And we were in this tiny little house and this tiny little room, and it was kind of cramped and awkward. And then a couple years later, we kind of just moved it to Fat Paul's mom's house, and she lives in this big house, and her kitchen is incredible, and I would do all the cooking in there. Like it was a potluck, but I did about 90% of the cooking. It was crazy, and there would be like 30 or 40 people coming to this thing because his house was so big. And he would have the one time he did it, he actually had like a concert in his basement. So it was like this like little festival type thing. But the kitchen was amazing, and it had 2 ovens in it, and I was just like, oh man, I was like running back and forth, like putting all this food in and prepping everything. It was great. It was really great. I miss it. And then I started working at Newgrounds Roasting Company, and so Fat Paul ended up moving to Philadelphia and having his own family, and Brandy went and did her thing, and Nick kind of just disappeared. But I kept it alive. I wanted to make sure that this became a thing every year. And so, yeah, like I said, I started working at Newgrounds Roasting Company, which was a coffee shop / music venue. In the back, there was this big factory, like where they did all the coffee grinding and all that stuff. And there was like a music venue back there, and all this cool stuff was going on back there. And we had like weddings and stuff like that, which is kind of weird that there's weddings at a coffee shop.
I knew that place. You used to have weddings there?
We had 3 weddings.
For anyone who's not local to York, Newgrounds was basically a tiny little coffee shop venue place on the main street in York, and that would not really strike me as a place to have weddings.
Yeah, I know, because it's so like industrial. There's like pipes everywhere and stuff. But yeah, and they were really nice weddings too. I was like stunned. But yeah, you could hold 200 people in there, which is, I mean, that's pretty decent size for...
You mean 50?
Sure. But like standing, we could have 200, but sitting, yeah, probably about 50.
I was saying 25% capacity.
Oh, right.
Keep up, John, keep up.
I know, sorry. Anyway, yeah, so we would do Vegansgiving there. We did that for like 3 years, I believe, and it was every year it just kept growing and growing, and it was getting too big for even Newgrounds. So we ended up moving it to Central Market, York. And the first year we did it, we had about, I think it was like 112 or something like that. And then we did it the next year, and it was 125, and then we ended up having to move from there. So last year we did it at Union Lutheran Church up the street from where we're actually doing this podcast. And there was about 135 people there, I believe. It was nuts, and it was great. So much positivity. We had live music, and lots of families came out, and it was great. It was really great.
And what's the best thing you ever had at Vegansgiving?
That wasn't mine?
Well, if you picked your own, that'd be a little...
I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I kind of had the best not to toot my horn or anything, but I do have the best baked mac and cheese ever, anywhere, from anyone.
It is very good.
Thank you. But if I was going to choose someone that wasn't me, I would probably pick... Oh, man. There's so many good things. The pierogi casserole is really amazing. Last year there was somebody brought like spring rolls that made from scratch, and those were awesome. Oh man, and it's weird because it's not all just like typical Thanksgiving food. It's like some people bring pizzas, some people bring like just random things, and there's like tater tot casseroles and just like really random things. People really try to get creative with it, and it's like, yeah, this is great.
Isn't the tater tot casserole basically just a tray of hash browns with cheese and stuff on top of them?
You would think, but there was a little bit more to it. The person would bring in this big tray with like the bottom would be like ground veggie crumbles. So basically like a ground beef, but not really. And then it would be a layer of cheese, and then it would be tater tots, and then it would be another layer of put like peas and stuff in it. It was like a bunch of veggies and stuff like that in it too. So it wasn't just like straight up tater tots. It was a little bit more than that, but yeah.
Peas is a food I do not eat nearly enough of, I think. I forgot they existed until you mentioned them right now.
I like peas. I know a lot of people have issues with peas, but I like them. I think they're all right.
So I want to give a few more details about what you're doing this year instead?
Yeah, so I'm probably not going to... Well, I'm obviously not going to celebrate because that would be crazy, but I'll probably make something small. I'll probably do like a little like seitan dish, sort of make it taste like turkey. And then I'll probably make some baked mac. And I was thinking I might do cream of broccoli soup, which is something I haven't done in a long time, and it's really good. And I'll probably make an Oreo cookie pie.
And in your vegan journey, how have you experienced Thanksgiving? What are some highs and lows of the holiday for you?
Well, I mean, actually, I'll go back even further than that. But when I first went vegetarian, that was the true test of if I could do it or not, was Thanksgiving, because I was gross and I loved turkey and I loved all those greasy like animal products back then, and it was just like, oh, why am I doing this to myself? So like this was like the true test of if I can get through Thanksgiving, I can get through anything. And sure enough, I didn't eat turkey, and that was it. Like I never really looked back on it. But yeah, I mean, it's really awkward going to family events because they're all still meat eaters, obviously, and they love meat. It's pretty gross, the stuff they eat, and it's like I kind of just like sit in another room while they do their stuff, and I just kind of keep to myself and eat vegan stuffing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's all about hanging out with family and stuff, but don't really I don't really like hanging out with my family that much, so it's kind of like yeah, I'm here, I'm gonna eat this food and go hide.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I used to be the stereotypical person who loved Thanksgiving, watch football, drink lots of beer, eat all the food, and just go all out that whole day. And then I always say the true test of your vegan lifestyle for yourself, or at least for me, was just making it through a couple of years of holidays, and having to endure all those awkward conversations, whether it's grandma saying, is this just a phase, or are you going to be vegan forever?
Yeah.
To which my answer is, I don't know, I gotta go break out my crystal ball and check it out for you, grandma. But at this point in time, yes, but who knows?
Right.
And then also something I struggle with personally is I'm not that big into food, as in I don't like sweets, I don't like super prepared vegan dishes that people go all out to recreate whatever non-vegan thing in vegan style. But whenever I go to these holidays, people always go all out, or at least my family does, and they'll make special vegan cake, vegan buffalo wings, seitan, and all this crazy stuff that they think they're making me super happy and excited, and I appreciate it. I love the effort, and I feel honored, but I don't really want to eat it. But then I have to choke it down because they made it for me.
Right.
Well, not choke it down. It's very good, and very much appreciate it. But it's also, I then feel bad because they're going through all this effort to make me all this food that I'm not enjoying. But then why aren't I enjoying it? There's so many things at play. It's just a very stressful time for me. So I don't like Thanksgiving anymore.
I totally get that. I understand that completely. And that's kind of why, like, another reason why we do Vegansgiving, like, either the week before or the week after, because nobody wants to be around each other on Thanksgiving Day. So I just, I just kind of make that designated Thanksgiving for myself is when we do Vegansgiving. And then I kind of just hide. But once in a while I'll go to my parents, and they've actually come a long way because like your experience, they thought it was a phase back then. They were like, oh, it's just a phase, you're going to grow out of this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, it's like 26 years later. I don't think this phase is going away. But and they've come to terms with that, and they've come along a long way with supporting that, and I appreciate that because they do make some pretty good food too, like vegan food. And they actually have come to Vegansgiving, and they've said many times it's like their favorite thing to come to. So
yeah, I always joke that my brother's a better vegan than I am because he makes amazing vegan food. He'll make vegan cookies, vegan cakes, vegan ice cream.
Nice.
Seitan from scratch and all that. And I'll just be sitting there eating rice and beans for umpteenth night in a row saying, this is fine.
And he's not vegan? He just likes making it?
He just likes cooking. And so whenever I'm around, he makes all this crazy vegan food. And then, like I said, I eat it and I do enjoy it, but then I feel guilty. But here's where I ameliorate. Am I using that word right? Ameliorate?
I don't even know that word.
Whoa.
Whatever that word you're trying to say is.
It's very hard for me to get out. It's late on Sunday. So anyway, what I tell myself to lessen that feeling of guilt, I think that's a better way to say it. Who knows if I'm going to edit this part out, is that by whether it's him or my uncle or my parents who's hosting the party, making all this vegan food just for me, as long as it's there and available, it shows not only the people cooking alternative ways to cook these things without exploiting animals, but also shows other people there. Because usually it's not, they don't just make one little bowl for me. They make a lot, and then everyone eats it, essentially. It shows everyone there that vegan food can be basically the same as non-vegan food if that's important to you.
Right.
So it's just by being present at these events and starting conversations, that could be a form of activism in itself.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And I mean, that's how I look at it too. Vegansgiving is like an activist event. Like, and we even have like tabling stuff going on with animal advocates. They'll come in and set up and everything, but it's just having everyone come together and like sit down and talk and have these conversations. Like, I know a lot of non-vegans have become vegan because of Vegansgiving, and it's like, that's amazing right there, you know? I mean, it's great. I love it.
Well, you're hitting down two of the things that come up again and again in these podcasts. Is best way to make vegans is have them be around awesome vegans and have them eat awesome vegan food. And
Absolutely.
doing those both at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely.
Whereas when I'm around, people are just around a vegan and potentially food they made, because I usually just bring stuff like sauerkraut I bought from the farmer's market.
But yeah, I just it's just so much fun. Like, and I miss it so much, you know. It's like, I was really hoping we were going to make something work this year. We really pushed and tried. And
we tried. We sent out all the emails,
Yeah,
filled out all the
just-
forms. We tried, folks.
Yeah, we really did. And it's a bummer that it's not happening. But hopefully next year it'll get a little better. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll just keep finding ways to make something happen.
And to plug my own favorite kind of vegan Thanksgiving-based food, I do love vegan stuffing. Good vegan stuffing.
Absolutely.
Because it's just, I love the mush. I guess it's like mushy stuff you can eat with one spork or spoon or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and I eat it cold too. Like,
oh my god, it's great.
Yeah, I love
sticks
it.
to the roof of your mouth and
Yeah,
all that. It's
yeah.
so nice. It's so easy to make vegan. I don't know why so many things aren't vegan when it's so easy to make them vegan.
I know.
It's like, literally just don't add bacon. Done.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I love stuffing. My mom makes pretty good stuffing.
Also, don't shove it up the butt of a dead turkey.
Correct. I never understood that. Like, I think that's actually what really kind of pushed me to start going vegetarian. Like, besides my cousin, like, kind of showing me the light, but like watching my mom like prep this stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's really.
It's kind of like poking its head out a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, it's really not an image. That's
Yeah, it's not flattering, and it's just gross. Like, the whole concept of shoving bread in a bird is just weird to me.
And speaking of birds, another reason I don't like Thanksgiving is the whole concept of those poor turkeys.
Yeah.
And then the concept of you pardon one turkey, which acknowledges that the turkeys don't want to die.
Right.
But then you do it anyway.
Yeah, I know. I always thought that was weird too. I was like, what? Why this one and not all of them? Just stop doing it.
You're saying, oh, this turkey's going to be so happy it's not dead, but all those other turkeys can go to
but yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of turkeys, I went to Here With Us Now. Yeah. Actually, speaking of turkeys, I actually went to Here With Us Farm Sanctuary, which is in Seven Valleys, and I got to see some turkeys, and they were really cute. That was on Friday. It was like right before I had to get to work on a project, and yeah, it was great seeing those turkeys, and they were all happy and kind of running around and being turkeys.
Yeah, I love the fall because all the deers and turkeys and stuff come out and you get to see them running around.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. I love seeing them in their natural habitat too, where you don't really register that turkeys are actually wild living creatures, not just frozen things at the store.
Right.
Or those stereotypical pictures you see everywhere and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always cool when you see a turkey out in the wild running around, sitting on a tree branch, hanging out and things like that.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even touch on the whole colonialism aspect of Thanksgiving, but it's not.
That's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, I'm with you on that too. It's just, yeah, there's so many negative aspects of Thanksgiving, and it just makes me not want to be around it.
So if you're listening and you feel like you're weird because you don't like Thanksgiving, you're not. Rest assured, you are not alone. It's a very polarizing holiday. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Where there's very few people who fall. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's usually, I hate this holiday, or yay, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And yeah, now also I don't watch football anymore, so I don't really care about that.
Yeah, I was never into football either myself, so I actually, like, nobody really kind of gets into that stuff in my family. They kind of just tune out football stuff, luckily. I mean, once in a while my dad will say something like, yay, this team did something, and I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. But it's not like he's not going out wearing makeup and, like, you know, throwing around like the flag of whatever the team is, or wearing jerseys and stuff like that. But, you know, and that's fine if that's your thing. But yeah, We were never really sports people.
Man, we are just being curmudgeons on poor Thanksgiving.
Down with Thanksgiving.
See, we ruined fireworks. We're ruining Thanksgiving.
It's what we do, apparently.
Well, because we want to be kind to the turkeys and the indigenous peoples and all those, and Thanksgiving is not. But it is a good opportunity to connect with your friends and family and enlighten them on the positive aspects of veganism and give them a new way of looking at what they've probably take for granted in their everyday life. Well, not every day, because Thanksgiving is only once a year, but you know what I mean.
I will say this. I've noticed in the last couple of years, some of the grocery stores will actually let you use your points that you would get for a free turkey to get free tofurkeys or holiday roasts or like whatever they have in stock. And I think that's pretty amazing that they give you that opportunity. So that's one really cool thing that's been happening in the last few years is some of the progression there. So that was definitely not a thing when I was a kid or before that even. So that's great.
Well, now there's a lot more options for that kind of thing. What is your favorite holiday vegan roast? Well,
I have a technique. I will get Tofurkey brand Tofurkeys because, I mean, they started the whole thing. So, you know, they kind of like the go-to. But a lot of people just shove them in the oven and just let them do their thing. And then they come out all rubbery and weird. And then everyone's like, ew, this is gross. Why are we eating this? But I actually like marinate mine and like make it like really like tender and like, oh, it's so awesome. And then sometimes I make my own seitan and then I shove a Tofurkey inside of it and then I bake it. And then it's like this, like what they would call a turducken. But I can't really say this on the air what I call it. But I could if you want me to. I don't care.
I think we can all kind of imagine.
Yeah.
Or I could bleep it out if you want to say
it's
it.
It's a toe...
that was what literally everyone...
Yeah. But which is funny because this video came out a couple years ago. This lady on PETA, they put out, and she's like making a toe... And I'm like, oh my god, that's totally something I came up with. Like, except she used just like straight up tofu and like jammed all kinds of things into it and then baked it. Like, I actually put effort into this. But yeah, they called it a tofu, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Should have filed for those copyright rights when you had the chance, man.
Yeah, because that was like years ago when I came up with that, and it's like, oh, you little weasels.
Like I mentioned, I don't really enjoy those kind of fake meats, quasi-vegan or fully vegan quasi-meat kind of thing, so I don't really eat them ever.
Right.
I eat my brother's seitan because it's delicious and full of love. But usually I just go all out on the sides.
Yeah.
I'm a big sides guy.
I like sides. I'm down with the sides.
I could literally eat nothing but a big old bowl of Brussels sprouts and mushrooms.
Yes. Oh my god, I love Brussels sprouts so much. Oh, they're so good. And they get a lot of hate for some reason.
Another polarizing part of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But, oh my god, and the desserts. Oh my god, the desserts are awesome. I know you're not a sweets person, but
hey,
oh my
good fruit salad with the little kiwi slices.
I used to make the best vegan pumpkin roll ever. I made like 5 of them, and they were gone in like 10 minutes.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like you get this, you make kind of almost like a pumpkin cake thing. You put on a flat sheet and then you put icing all over it and then you roll it up.
Oh, I've seen those before.
Yeah,
but usually they're in plastic wrap and sold at corner stores.
Right. But yeah, this is like a little bit more intricate. And yeah, it's so good. Oh my god, I haven't had it in a while. I might have to do that instead of a Oreo cookie pie.
I did used to eat those when I wasn't vegan.
What's that, Oreo cookie pies?
Yeah.
Or
Oreo pudding pies with like Oreo and stuff on.
Oh
them.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of similar to what I do. I use vegan fluff and whipped cream in mine.
Growing up, we used to not be able to say the word fart because apparently we're a Puritan household, and so we had to say the word fluff instead. So when you said vegan fluff, I thought of your YouTube channel. Link in the show notes.
Thank you.
And we're just totally rambling about Thanksgiving. I feel like that's all people have brain capacity for nowadays,
right.
is just to kind of sit back and listen to people ramble or ramble themselves. But Crisco, is that vegan?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever used it ever for anything. I think they do make like vegetable shortening.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Crisco itself is. I don't know exactly what it is.
Neither do I, but I know when I used to be super into baking, back when I wasn't vegan, I would sometimes use Crisco instead of butter.
I think it is just straight up vegetable shortening. I don't know. I'd have to look into that because I hardly ever bake, like ever, like once in a great while. Usually it's for like some kind of Vegansgiving situation. I would just use baking, but I never use that stuff. I usually just stick with butter and like whatever ingredients I needed. But I hardly ever use shortening for anything. But I guess it's good.
Link in the show notes to articles saying one way or the other. And speaking of that kind of thing, not really related, but made me think of it, is how frustrating is it when you're with your family and let's say my brother, again, to throw him under the bus, goes really far out of his way to make a really awesome vegan thing, but does one thing that makes it not vegan at the very end. And then having to say, sorry, I realize you did all this just for me, but you put fish sauce in this, so now I can't eat it. Or I can, I just choose not to. And then you feel like a jerk. And then he's all sad. And then, it's very awkward. Yeah.
Actually, when I first went vegan, my mom made me this, it was like some kind of pie or something, but she used it's in the vegan section at grocery stores usually, but it's like this, it's called like True Whip or something like that. She was thinking it was vegan because it was in the section. So, she didn't know any better. But like at the time, like I was so mad because I was like eating this thing and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I was like, but this tastes kind of weird. And then I saw the package. I was like, no. And I was pretty mean to her actually. I kind of was like, damn it. But she didn't realize and I didn't tell her and it wasn't her fault. But that's why you need to always check your ingredients.
Well, how far out of your way do you go to find out something's 100% vegan or not if someone's serving you? So if you're at, let's say, a restaurant and there's rolls on the table or whatever, do you ask the server, are these vegan rolls?
There's been times, I'll ask. And some of them are actually pretty like nice about it and they'll go back and they'll actually... There was this one place I went to and they actually brought the box out that it came in and it had the ingredients and stuff. So some people are pretty cool about that. But it just depends. If it's like a local place and I know the people and they know me and it's fine, like I'm good with it. But there's some places where I go, I'm like, I better double check and hopefully they'll give me a straight answer. And if not, I just won't eat it,
But even things like pasta or even pizza crust, a lot of times if you go to a Italian restaurant, 9 times out of 10 they'll probably be vegan, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah, sometimes they put honey in the dough or like some kind of weird something or another.
Sometimes they make pasta with eggs and things.
Yeah, that's a common thing, especially like some of the places around here that make their pasta from scratch. They use egg in it. It's like, stop that.
For me, I generally err on the side of vegan for things like pasta and pizza crust, but where I err on the side of caution is Chinese foods.
Yes.
So if I'm at some random Chinese restaurant and I order General Tso's tofu, I ask or I just don't order. I'll order it without the sauce or something like that because I know fish paste and
they use
beef broth, chicken broth,
sauce
all
and stuff like that. Yeah, you got to really watch out for that. But some places are really cool about it and they just won't use it. They'll use some other oil they have or sauce. So you just got to make sure you're on the same wavelength with them. So they don't.
I think we take for granted as vegans that we're so immersed in this is vegan, this is not culture where people like look at a bowl of bread and say, of course it's vegan. There's no animals thing in there. And they won't realize that, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's eggs or milk or whatever.
Yeah, I've gotten I sort of have my own... I've been doing this for so long, I pretty much know what I need and know what I want. And like, if there's something that comes up that I'm suspicious about, then I'll be like, oh, I got to look into this. But yeah, for the most part, it's just kind of, going with the flow at this point. Because
I do not look up the different beta carotene synthophythin weird thing. That's like the weird thing at the very end of the ingredients.
Right.
That it's goat sneezed on once or something that makes it not vegan. But I get that. That's important for some people to be as pure as humanly possible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe it'd be a sustainable way for me to live my life if I looked into every single little tiny
because you never know. I mean, even if it says something that's vegan, something could have happened along the lines where something ended up in there. It's just you you can't go around like being paranoid about everything you eat. Like even if you grew something, like you never knew what happened like along the lines. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's about being the best you can.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to make people feel like who do care about that that's not valid.
No, I totally understand.
You got to do whatever you got to do to sleep at night.
Absolutely, and I get it. And I'm kind of like that, but I'm not as I'm not as strict, but like I'm usually pretty good about that. Like, and it's really a challenge with like vitamins and stuff like that. Which again, doing the best you can with that.
And well, once I know, I'll go, but I don't research extensively every consumption decision I make.
Right.
So if you told me that, hey, that brand of vitamins is actually run by supervillains and that's not vegan, I'd say, okay, I won't buy it anymore. But I'm not going to go and pull out my smartphone and Google everything.
Right.
But again, if you do that, that is amazing, and I power to you. I'm super jealous.
Absolutely.
You can live your life that closely aligned with your ethics. Super impressive.
Yeah.
Keep going. Tell me your secret.
Right. And there's even like really awesome apps out there that help you get, if you are that way, like help you get that information that you need, which is very helpful, I think.
Now, where do you fall on this product was made in a facility that also processes milk kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a thin line right there because you never know. I mean, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't, it could have happened regardless, if it's a place that deals with that stuff. I mean, it can happen, but most places are pretty good about keeping up with keeping things clean in those facilities. So I don't know. I don't worry about it too much, but yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, I might just not mess with that.
And I always like to play the game, what's the alternative? So if this facility isn't making this potentially vegan, depending on where you land, product, it would be making a non-vegan product. Right. So that's why I'd always lean towards, in my mind, I always think of how crazy is this facility that this product may contain something, like they don't know it contains it or not. People are just throwing stuff left and right. And oh God, they get nuts with that. I don't know. Keep going.
Right. No, I get that.
Yeah. Again, it's just all about your ethic, your lifestyle, what you can personally do to live your life as close to your ethics as possible. And for me, I don't worry too much about that because, again, what's the alternative game?
Right.
But then I go into that. If my brother makes me that potentially vegan food that at the very end doesn't make it vegan and I don't eat it,
right?
Or if you're at a restaurant and you order and they bring out your pizza and then you find out that, hey, it's not vegan,
right,
and you don't eat it, they'll probably just throw it out, and that's no good.
Right.
Why is this so hard, John?
It is hard sometimes if you really think about it, but yeah, I mean, you always have to worry about cross-contamination and stuff like that. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, it's a thing. Like, you just, if you're willing to take that risk, then so be it. I mean, it makes sense if you're like super allergic to something to stay away from that, but if it's just like a microbe of like a milk product or something from them not cleaning something properly, like, I mean, it's horrible, like, but it's not going to like ruin your life. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but now I'm thinking that if you were told that this product may contain people or parts of people or something like that.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, then that gets in a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, I would eat a person.
If you were on a desert island with nothing but you.
Oh, that person's a snack for me, yeah.
Well, that just took a very dark turn.
Okay, let's wrap this up. No, I'm not going to eat any people.
But then wouldn't the whole idea...
You feeling uncomfortable over there?
No, it is getting close to dinner time. But then the whole idea of cross-contamination being acceptable, doesn't that almost normalize or devalue the lives or belittle the suffering of the animals that went into that cross-contamination?
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, it's such a hard thing to come to terms with, I mean, it's going to happen no matter what, but doing the least amount of... the damage is already done, So it's like, what do you do?
Make a fuss over it so people realize that's not okay.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. And it's getting to that point. We got to keep pushing it, but it's like
making a fuss it doesn't do much. Standing up for your belief that it's not okay and pointing out the suffering that went into the contamination.
Right.
But I guess, yeah, that's another thing, because one of our holidays, my brother always says, well, I cleared out this section of the grill for you. So it's
Right.
not, I'm thinking, that's nice, but if it didn't do that, I'd be okay. But then, even just by being present and letting everyone else enjoy their animal products, that's also normalizing it. So I don't even know what to do anymore, John.
We're really overanalyzing this.
We're supposed to be a 15-minute episode, and we're 36 minutes in. And I don't think I'm going to edit this one too heavily, because I don't feel like listening to us for this long. So I hope you didn't say a lot of ums.
I hope not either. I guess we'll find out.
Well, any other complex ideas or questions or controversial opinions you want to throw out there before we wrap this up and go play some Super Nintendo?
I can't think of anything else. This was fun though. It was nice talking about food and all that good stuff and not eating food and
Yep, and realizing how hard it is to be vegan in a non-vegan world. And there's literally no way for us to perfectly align with our ethics in a way that's not hypocritical, which is okay.
Right.
Again, you gotta do the best you can.
Yeah, exactly. That's people. I always say it every time we talk to somebody. I say it. It's like you got to do the best you can. That's all veganism is. It's not about perfection. It's about doing the best you can. So that's all we can do, really.
This is true, and right, Victor. All right. Well, if you have any thoughts or questions or want to share your favorite Thanksgiving memories or any Thanksgiving horror stories, you can send us an email or bekindpodcast@gmail.com. And thanks again for listening, everyone, and have a happy Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you are deciding to celebrate during this time of year. And please stay safe, stay well, and stay vegan, or start getting closer to vegan if you can.
3, 2, 1.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.